Welcome! I am Public Enemy Numero Uno and thank you so much for watching this. Today I want to talk about having fun with Alchemist Fire. Alchemist Fire are one of those items that seem a bit odd because of the rules that surround it. It doesn't nearly do as much damage as either acid or holy water, yet it costs twice as much. So what's the appeal then? Alchemist Fire can be found in the player's handbook on pages 148, 150, and 151. It costs 50 gold and weighs 1 pound. The rules state, this sticky adhesive fluid ignites when exposed to air. As an action, you can throw this flask up to 20 feet, shattering it on impact. Make a ranged attack against a creature or object, treating the Alchemist Fire as an improvised weapon. On a hit, the target takes 1d4 fire damage at the start of each of its turns. A creature can end this damage by using its action to make a DC 10 dexterity check to extinguish the flames. If you hadn't noticed it yet, but Alchemist Fire doesn't go out. Yeah, it just keeps burning. A different example would be oil that states that after getting lit, it burns for 2 rounds. What's more is there doesn't seem to be any condition other than when exposed to air for the fire to ignite. Just breaking the flask will ignite the fire without needing to use it as a weapon. I would say that the glass flask has an armor class of 13 and 2 hit points using the object rules found in the Dungeon Master's Guide on page 246 to 247. Breaking it on the ground, I would say that it covers a 5-foot square area and any creature that stands on the space takes 1d4 fire damage at the start of each of its turns or when it enters the area for the first time. Presumably, you cannot use it underwater, but because of how the rules are written, it seems entirely possible to break it on top of the water and it won't go out until put out. Why? Because the Alchemist Fire doesn't light things on fire to burn it, it just ignites. Not sure why you would do that, maybe to create a constant light source using torch rules. Adding the requirement of a dexterity check to put it out makes it imply that the only way to put it out is smothering it. While not stated, causing a torrent of water or some other substance to completely cover it might be considered smothering it. So, that's the appeal of it, a never-ending fire source that burns. Because of that, there are quite a few fun things that it could be used for. Using it for arson. Using Alchemist Fire for something as simple as a fireplace is nice and practical, but igniting the substance hidden somewhere in a wooden building, now that's terrifying. Unless the source can be located, fire can logically spread from the ignited location outward, creating an inferno. With a well-chosen spot, it will not likely be noticed until the fire becomes too far gone to stop. What's more, the source would have to be located, as Alchemist Fire can only be put out directly, can be used to do a quick sneak and drop, added visibility to the pyromaniac, and this could likely go without a hitch. For the fire spread, there aren't any rules, so I use this. Fire that is at least 5-foot square area in size has a 50% chance to spread each round. If it does, a random adjacent 5-foot square area is lit on fire. If the fire becomes too big, like a 20-foot square, then it might start spreading up to 2 5-foot square areas at a time. Another little trick for arson is a fire trap. Simple. Have a hallway, room, or similarly confined area covered in flammable materials like dry wood, paper, or cloth, and either drop or break an Alchemist Fire into it after closing off the area. Absolutely devastating and difficult to avoid the constant 1d4 fire damage. Using oil to cause the fire to spread even faster might not be a bad idea. Using Alchemist Fire to light your own weapons on fire could be a lot of fun. I wouldn't allow it for ammunition as either size and the fact that they are typically made out of wood means that they will not last. Similar problems could be had with similar weapons like a spear, and the dagger might be too close to your hand for it to be safe. However, swords and weapons that have a large enough metal fixture like axes and hammers could be a likely choice for Alchemist Fire. Applying it would be quite dangerous considering that the substance ignites immediately when exposed to air. I would impose a DC 10 dexterity check to safely apply it as an action, having it deal only 1d4 fire damage on a failure. As the fire doesn't go out until put out, you now have a flaming weapon. I would add, just to create some more spice along the way, an additional hazard is that the fire could damage any non-magical weapon if used for too long. After the fire has been lit for 1 minute at the start of each of your turns, make a cumulative 1d20 check to see if the weapon is destroyed. On the first time, a result of 1 means that the weapon is destroyed. On the second time, a result of 2 or less means that the weapon is destroyed, and so on. For the 1 minute grace period, you now have a weapon that can deal an additional 1d4 fire damage on a hit. For an already flaming weapon like Flame Tongue, the Alchemist Fire does not add any additional damage. Since I shot down ammunition as a use for Alchemist Fire, could it be used as a ranged attack without using improvised weapon rules? Possibly, but I am not sure. I run into a bit of a snag with my logic as I compare Alchemist Fire to acid. One is in a flask while the other is in a vial, yet both weigh 1 pound. Does that mean that a vial and a flask are synonymous in quantity? Personally, I would say no, as acid can burrow through a target while Alchemist Fire works by spreading out over a large surface. Because of that, I would rule that Alchemist Fire cannot be attached in some way to ammunition because of its bulk, nor transformed into a smaller source to be hurled by something like a sling. Acid, however, will be discussion for another time. I believe that Alchemist Fire can only be used as an improvised weapon as stated by the rules. My finishing thought is that Alchemist Fire can be a fun addition to a campaign, especially anywhere that fire is most dangerous. With that, please comment down below as I would love to hear more ideas or criticisms. Thank you again for watching my video and have an enjoyable day.